Man, I can't believe just how quickly the summer's going by, and August is pretty much done.
Yeah.
And we're rolling into September.
Wow.
And I mean, thinking of September, 15 years.
15.
Since 9/11.
Wow.
I mean, you talk about time just really moving by. But in a lot of ways, it seems like it was just yesterday. I don't know about you, but I mean, can you remember where you were?
I can remember exactly where I was, man. I was, I'll tell you, I was in the military in Charleston, South Carolina,
Okay.
man. And I was finishing up the military, and I was at the laundromat washing my kids' clothes, man. And I can remember peering up at the TV, and I said to myself, what movie is that? Honestly, what movie is that? So then you seen the breaking news coming down the bottom. I'm like, hold up, that's not a movie.
It's for real.
That's for real.
Yeah.
And then everyone that was in the laundromat started moving closer to the TV. So me naturally, I started moving a little closer. I said, man, we're being invaded.
Wow.
Yeah. So I remember exactly where I was, the moment, and what I was doing. How about you?
Same thing. I mean, I was actually, when the first plane hit, I was in a chapel service actually at Geneva, and somebody had came in at the start and just said there was a plane that had crashed into one of the towers. We're thinking a little kind of private sort of plane. Yeah. I mean, not that wouldn't be tragic enough, right. But nowhere near thinking what later we saw. But and I remember leaving where the chapel was and having to walk back, and then you heard people having these conversations, seeing footage like you had seen. Yeah. And then I remember somebody saying, well, there have been 2 planes that have hit the towers, and there's a plane flying over Pennsylvania. And we're like, you're thinking, wait a minute, this is getting real. But the first time I stepped in front of the television and saw what went on, I know we shut down operations on campus for the rest of that day, and if you could go home, you went home, but you just stayed glued to that television, like you said, because it's something like you would see out of a movie. Yeah. But it's not. It's real life.
Yeah, it very much was so, and it changed a whole lot of people's lives, man. I mean, you can just say, well, maybe the people in New York was affected. Man, that thing affected everyone abroad, man.
That was the world over.
From the east to the west coast, man. And we are living in a world, of extreme fear.
At the same time, you talk about though that culture of fear. Yeah. Unfortunately, there are people out there who play to those fears. Yes. I know. I'll never forget. I was in New York shortly after 9/11, and I arrived there by train. And I come out of the train station, and I'm waiting there for my cab. And cab driver pulls up, and for the sake of the story, he's Muslim. He identified himself that way. But he said, at first I wasn't going to pick you up. And I look at him like, what? And he goes, no, not because you're black. He says, it's heading towards evening. I'm on my way to evening prayer. He said, but there's something special about you. But we start this conversation, and he really starts telling me what it's like for a Muslim American in a post 9/11 New York. Some of the mean, hurtful things people had said to him, the threats that he received, and he had nothing to do with it. I mean, he's as terrified, as we are. And this is, in the months immediately following that. And unfortunately, there's still people who are playing, to and on those fears, to this day.
Yes. And how do we get out from up under that? And I hope some way, somehow we can finally get out from up under that if we can begin to value people for who they are. We take each person as an individual, right. and we quit looking at people, from a broad perspective.
Have you been to New York since 9/11, or to DC for that matter, or the site here in Pennsylvania? Because I know often when we think 9/11, and I just did it myself, we focus on those towers in New York, and we forget the impact that happened here in our own state, as well as in the nation's capital.
Yeah, I've been to D.C. and New York since then, since post 9/11. I have not been to the site here. Was Somerset, am I correct?
Yeah.
Somerset, no. But I have been to the other 2 sites. Again, wow. I mean, the people that were affected and the people that continue to be affected by this situation, again, I hope at some point, someday, we can get past it. I know we'll never forget it.
Never forget it.
Never forget it. But somehow we can get past it, and we can move on to not from 9/11, but from the fear and from these misperceptions about people, man.
Well, it's like Dr. King had said that, until we learn to live together as sisters and brothers, we're going to perish together as fools.
Wow.
It's a prime example.
Wow.
Hey, we'd like to thank you for being with us on this episode of Barbershop Talk. We'll see you again real soon. God bless.